ASMR True Crime friends. I hope you are safe and well. Today, we're delving into the heart of the Peach State, Georgia, where beneath the magnolia trees and city lights lie tales of mystery and darkness waiting to be uncovered. For the best experience, use headphones while watching this video. Now get comfortable and let's begin our journey. 1. The Atlanta Child Murders, Atlanta. We begin our exploration with one of Georgia's most haunting chapters, the Atlanta Child Murders. From 1979 to 1981, a string of killings terrorized the city, claiming the lives of over 25 African American children, adolescents, and young adults. In mid-1979, Edward Hope Smith, aged 14, and Alfred Evans, aged 13, vanished within 4 days of each other. Their remains were discovered in July, concealed in a wooded area. Smith had sustained a .22 caliber gunshot wound to his upper back. The discovery of these two young victims marked the beginning of the murderer's reign. A dedicated task force was assembled to delve into the disappearances of children and the homicides haunting Atlanta. It comprised members drawn from both the Atlanta Police Department and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Based on the locations where victims' bodies were found and behavioral patterns linked to the perpetrator, FBI agents proposed a strategy to monitor the bridges and rivers in the city. During a surveillance operation, detectives heard a splash in the early hours of the morning. They stopped a passing car and questioned the driver, Wayne Williams, but they lacked sufficient evidence to detain him at the time. 2 days later, the dead body of Nathaniel Cater, 27, was discovered downstream nearby where police had questioned Williams. It wasn't until a month later that Wayne Williams was finally arrested. His alibis were weak, and he failed a polygraphy test. Authorities collected forensic evidence from Williams's vehicle, uncovering fibers that corresponded to those discovered on two of the victims. In February 1982, Wayne Williams was convicted of 2 adult murders that were linked to the case and was given 2 life sentences. But many of the child murders remain unsolved, leaving a scar on Atlanta's history and raising questions about the true extent of the perpetrator's actions. 2. The Stalking Strangler, Columbus. Venturing into the dark corners of Columbus, we uncover the sinister tale of the Stalking Strangler. For 6 months in the late 1970s, this elusive serial killer stalked the streets, targeting elderly women and leaving a trail of fear in his wake. Carlton Gary was eventually convicted of several of the murders, but controversy and doubt surround his guilt, leaving the true identity of the Stalking Strangler shrouded in mystery. 3. The murder of Tara Grinstead, Ocilla. Shifting to a more recent case, we unravel the tragic story of Tara Grinstead. On October 24, 2005, the small town of Ocilla was rocked by the disappearance of Tara, a beloved high school teacher and beauty queen. When she did not show up for work, her co-workers called the police. The police went to her home and found her cell phone inside, and her car still outside. Her purse and keys were gone. When the police were looking for evidence at her home, the police found DNA on a latex glove close to her front stoop. They couldn't identify the person but knew they were looking for a man. It wasn't until 2017 that the investigators received a tip from an ex-girlfriend of a former roommate of a man known as Ryan Duke. The former roommate claimed that Ryan allegedly told him that he accidentally killed the teacher while trying to rob her in her home. The roommate, Bo Duke, who is of no relation to Ryan, confessed that Ryan used his truck to move her body to a pecan orchard. Bo admitted to helping Ryan dispose of the body. Authorities arrested both Ryan and Bo in connection with the murder. Ryan faced murder charges and Bo stool trial for helping him cover it up. In 2019, Bo Dukes received a 25-year prison sentence. Ryan Duke's conviction had a shocking turn of events. He accused Bo of killing Tara Grinstead, and that he helped Bo dispose of the body, which left major doubts in the minds of the jury. They acquitted him of murder and found him guilty of concealing her death. He only received 10 years in prison. Tara's murder shook the community and highlighted the power of perseverance in seeking justice. 4. The Atlanta Olympics bombing, Atlanta. Turning to a high-profile case that captured the world's attention, we revisit the Atlanta Olympics bombing of 1996. During the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Eric Robert Rudolph planted a bomb in Centennial Olympic Park, killing one woman and injuring over 100. Over the next 2 years, Rudolph placed 2 more bombs in Georgia and 1 in Birmingham, Alabama. The blasts resulted in several injuries and the death of a police officer. The FBI put Rudolph on the 10 most wanted fugitives list on May 5, 1998. The FBI suspected Rudolph was in North Carolina due to his upbringing there, suggesting his familiarity with the area from his youth. The strategy of the FBI was to keep local law enforcement up to date with sightings. They would regularly contact family members and had scouts patrolling forest areas. It wasn't until 2003 that Rudolph was arrested by police. He was found rummaging through a trash bin behind a grocery store in the town of Murphy. He has been eluding law enforcement for years while hiding out in the mountains in western North Carolina. In April 2005, Rudolph took a plea deal in which he would plead guilty to all charges he was accused of in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. The FBI found 250 pounds of dynamite he had hidden in the forest. He was sentenced on July 18, 2005 to 4 consecutive life terms, without parole for the 1998 murder of a police officer. Rudolph was sent to the ADX Florence Supermax federal prison where he resides today. The attacks that Rudolph did sent shockwaves through the nation and forever changed the landscape of security at large-scale events. 5. The Atlanta Ripper, Atlanta. Lastly, we delve into a dark chapter from Atlanta's past, the reign of the Atlanta Ripper. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly when the first murder occurred, but in October 1910, the body of Maggie Brooke was found. The 23-year-old was discovered with a fractured skull. Several months later, in late January 1911, the body of Rosa Trice was found not far from her house. Her skull had been crushed and her throat slashed. The Atlanta Constitution reported that her husband was involved with the murder, but he was later released due to a lack of evidence. Weeks later, another unidentified black woman was found with her skull crushed in woods near railroad tracks. The murders of 2 more black women, Belle Walker and Addie Watts, happened in May and June of the same year. Both their throats had been slashed. It wasn't until another victim was found that the murders started to make the front page of the newspapers, and mass hysteria began in the community. The majority of the murders occurred in the old 4th Ward of the city. With dim lighting and no streetcars, the area provided the killer with ample darkness to choose and approach their victims unnoticed. For more than 10 years, up until 1924, the bodies of slain black women were discovered in the city. It is thought that the Atlanta Ripper had killed at least 20 women. Despite intense police investigations and public outcry, the identity of the Atlanta Ripper remains a mystery, leaving a haunting legacy in the city's history. And there you have it, some insight into some truly harrowing true crime cases in the state of Georgia. Would you like a deep dive into any of these stories? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember to stay curious, stay vigilant, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories.